All right, let's get into our main topics.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Lizzie, you're up first. You got a dead man performing on stage. What happened?
No. Um, if you can't handle a lot of stuff, a lot of creepy crawly stuff, then you may want to step away. So we're going to talk about a young rapper, a local rapper. His rap name is Goonew, and he was shot and killed in Washington D.C. in March. And so last week, his family decided that they were going to have a memorial service for him at a local DC nightclub called Bliss Nightclub, in
You
which
calling him out?
they, yeah, absolutely. Um, and in which they decided that the family commissioned Bliss, commissioned the funeral home to allow them to have a memorial service at the nightclub and to prop his body up on stage, right? During a Saturday night performance, or just Saturday night, let's go to the club. We're gonna have Gunu on stage, as the music is blasting, as people are dancing, having a good time. And it caused a lot of commentary and disturbance in social media. So that's Gunu's body right there on stage at the club, 50, meet me in the club. So my question to you
Meet me in the
guys
club.
is,
So-
because having a corpse, a body on display is not out of the ordinary when you think of wakes, when you think of funerals. So my question to the panel is this any different from your average funeral, is your average send-off for a loved one who has departed?
Start with Robbie.
I mean, it was done as a viewing at the club. And this is something that was important to the family. This is something that resonated with the family. They wanted to have a celebration of life that was fitting for Markel. Um, you know what? More power to them. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean that it isn't a valid celebration of life. At first, when we were kind of talking about this, I was thinking, man, this is like a bad Weekend at Bernie's segment.
Weekend at
But
Bernie's.
right? Yeah, but
For those young people that don't know Weekend at Bernie's, check it out.
Google it.
It's a
Google it.
1989 film, so
It's a horrible film, but you'll get the premise.
horrible.
But no, like I really appreciated what his mom had to say. I'm pleased with how I sent my son away. I wish people would just let me grieve in peace. And I agree with her 100%.
All right, Mario.
Okay, so I got some challenges with this because yes, we do open casket, right? But I think that the challenge with this is it was kind of the venue, but it's more like the way that it was done, right? Like
Mhm.
if he were an open casket on the stage and like everybody went up to do the homegoing like ceremonies and give like their respects, that could be a little different, right? But like he's like propped up
Yeah.
like he's propped up. Like it's a whole nother situation. And I have to ask, and I don't know because this is my confusion, and maybe Liz, you know more about this, but like, did all of the people who came to the club know that that was what
So
they were going to get when they got
There's
to
some
the club?
confusion on that.
there's a lot of confusion on that. I don't honestly, I don't think everybody knew. I think it was advertised at some point that this may have been what was going to take place. But again, this is a regular nightclub in DC, Bliss Nightclub.
Right.
They charge $40 admission to come into this, right? And
That's the
so
thing,
I
though.
think
That's the thing that got
I,
me.
I think you have people who knew that something like going to happen, and people who just wanted to go and maybe listen to his songs all night, not realizing that he was going to be, standing in the corner up on stage, looking like he's about to bob his
That's
head.
probably that's what I would have thought. That, we were just celebrating him. And, woo. All right, but so real
Yeah.
quick online. So Laney Annie Burrell says, "Ah, man, that's effing creepy." Just says, although you are right, it is a different view on the viewing. And Jacqueline Robbins says, this was absolutely appalling. The story went international. The family should be ashamed of themselves. The club actually had a $40 cover charge. And like I said, I think the cover charge is the thing that got me. I'm like, why are we charging to prop this man up? I mean, it was like a party that you it's almost like you were trying to make money off of the guy being dead and propping his body up. It was less like a celebration of a funeral. Now maybe they were just trying to cover the cost of the Bliss nightclub, but I don't know. I mean, that's what you pay funeral costs for, you know? I don't know.
But
Mario, you were gonna
but
say
when
something.
was the last time when was the last what was the last wake that you went to where you live streamed what was happening? That was kind of, if this was a viewing, if this was a wake type thing, a celebration of life, how often do you live stream shit like that? That's a personal event.
So maybe
Well, if
not
it's a
live
popular
stream, but
person,
let me just say, I had an aunt who passed away at the beginning of March, right, in North Carolina. My sister Jackie and I, we were not able to go to the funeral for myriad reasons, but my cousin sent us pictures from the funeral, including pictures of the body in the casket, which I just was so offended by. So, but I remember growing up, whenever we had, loved ones and family members who died, there were always an abundance of pictures that were circulated. So maybe not a live stream, Rob, because that technology wasn't available back then. But folks have been taking pictures of the body in the casket for years, and it drives me nuts.
Mm.
It is always nuts. And so when my dad died in 92, I was like, okay, y'all can display the body, but it's not going to be an open casket for the entire funeral. We're going to have a small window, and then boom. When my mom passed away in 2013, my sister Jackie and I, we said the same thing. Like, we're not going to just sit here with a body open and, people popping pictures. Like that, to me, maybe not to this family, but to me, that is disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I don't, I understand that this is what this family chose to do. And supposedly, his wishes, these were her dying wishes. And yes, respect that. I just, I was just like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, I mean, they do it in other countries. I know, Mario, you had a quick comment. If you can go ahead and get that out.
no, well, I was gonna say, I think in terms of the viewing piece of like everybody seeing everything in the live stream, I think like if the family felt like, and he might have like a ton of fan. I didn't know his name before this. I'll be honest.
I never heard of
But
him either.
like, but
Okay.
but but that's just me. Like a lot of people might know him, so I would think the more popular someone is, the more you live stream everything to memorialize them, right? So that could have been their mentality. So the
That's a good
live
point.
streaming wasn't my issue. My issue was more of what they were live streaming
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah,
of like
right.
just the whole like there's an embalmed body on the stage standing upright, and then we're charging people $40. I think that was a really good point you made, Neil. Like
Yeah.
that piece
Yeah.
actually definitely adds to your purpose for doing something is a little concerning.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, one last comment online. Jacqueline Robinson says, then the mama asked that the family be allowed to grieve in peace after getting called out. Woman, please, you should have thought of that before you put him up there.
And see, this is what people don't understand in 2022. Unfortunately, once you allow something to go
Yes.
public,
Mm-hmm.
everyone has
It's
the right
public.
to comment.
Comment.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
All right.
If you wanted it to be private, you would have taken away all the phones at the entrance.
Yep. All right.
End of
Is
discussion.
this truth, lies,
Truth,
or
lies,
shenanigans?
shenanigans.
Y'all.
Oh, big shenanigans. Big
Shenanigans.
shenanigans.
That's
Oh,
And
shenanigans.
this is one of the reasons why I will be cremated. Y'all not gonna see my
great
embalmed,
shenanigans.
looking body
for
up
those that
there.
don't
No,
know,
ma'am.
Maria's daughter made her shenanigans sign.
Oh, let's see it again. Let's see it again, Maya.
She did. She did. She helped me decorate all the signs, so you'll see them. You'll see them as they come up.
Nice.